Okay, so just having a look at curtain walls generally to start with. So just remember again, with the history of architecture and design, curtain walls are a really well-defined thing in architecture, especially, that need to have certain properties and behave in a certain way. So that's the reason Revit has the curtain wall tool, because they're a very common thing in buildings that perform certain functions. But for interiors projects, you will often use them for interior partitions, but they still are going to behave in the same way as an exterior curtain wall. And one of the basic rules is that they don't curve. Now, that doesn't mean you can't draw curves with the curtain wall tool. You've still got the option to draw an arc or even other curves with curtain walls. But that's what I want to show you to start with. So I'm using the 6mm thick glazing, and then I'm going to draw an arc using that type of wall. So I'll draw my two endpoints and then place the middle point of the curve. Right, so you can see there I have drawn a curve, but the wall is straight. And that's because the wall doesn't have any divisions. So I'm going to change it to one that does have divisions. So storefront already has divisions preset. So if I choose that one, now you can see, if we go and look at edit type, this wall has a 1500mm spacing for the vertical grid. So that means each of these panels is about 1500mm long. But notice that each of those panels is still straight. So it basically follows the curve as best it can with the settings that you have for the divisions or the grid in your curtain wall. But again, each of those panels is always going to be straight. So if you want a truly curved, let's say, piece of glass or something, and you want to use the wall tool for that, you can still do it. So again, back to walls architectural. So instead of using a curtain wall, I'm just going to choose a different wall type. So let's go for 30mm toilet partition because that's a thin one. Edit type, duplicate, and I'm going to call this glass wall. Then I'll click to edit the structure, and let's make it just 20mm. Just remember, in real life, glass is not even that thick. And I'm going to change the material to glass. So then I'm simply going to draw an arc just like before, but this time it is curved. Okay, so that's the first thing. So if you're drawing curves with curtain walls, again, you'll get those faceted panels. If you want a true curve, it's technically not a curtain wall. But again, you can just use the regular wall tool. It'll probably look better as well. And just remember, if you ever get to deal with construction, it's very difficult to build this sort of curve with glass. There's a whole industry based around that. There are companies that do supply curved glass, but it's a very specialized thing. It's much more common curved exteriors, especially that they in projects. It's fine just to, if you want to show a curve, no problem. Openings or doors in a curtain wall. To do those, but again, you need to understand how curtain wall funky. Okay, well, no internet. What? Have I lost my connection? Oh no. Can anyone still hear me?
Yes, I can. I just logged out and logged back in because your last one kept cutting out for
yes,
me.
good. Yeah, right. Okay, I did.
Yeah,
My internet went.
same with me, Danny.
Right. Okay. That's okay. So yeah, so that might be in the recording too, unfortunately. But hopefully you'll be able to get the gist of it. Anyway, yeah, my internet just went in and out for some reason. I just had the NBN connected yesterday, so maybe it's that. Anyhow, so hopefully it's all come back. And then yeah, so just to continue on, just make sure it's still recording. Yeah, it's still recording, so that should be right. Yeah, so I've just selected the panel, the mullion at the bottom of that panel, and then I had to click on unpin so that I can then delete it. And so now that's ready for the door. So I need to then select the panel, and sometimes you need to press tab until it highlights the panel, and then you click afterwards to select it. And yeah, I hope this would happen. So there's a bit of a bug in the program. I was hoping they would have fixed it by 2020, but they haven't. So you can see there it says load. Now I think if I flick between these, it may wake it up. No. Yeah, so it's a bug. It should let you click on that button. It did originally when they first put this tool in, but then again, those new developers were just complete fools. There's so many basic things like this that they really should fix, but luckily the original developers of Revit were really clever people, and we're still using all the good stuff they put in. So that's all good. But again, I wish they would fix that little thing. So to make it give us the load option, you need to use a little trick. Got to go to the Insert tab, go to Load Family, and then go to Metric Library, and then Curtain Wall Panels, and then choose any of those curtain wall panels. It does not matter which one. So I'll just choose the first one, curtain wall double glass. So then I can do what I did before, select my panel using tab if necessary before I click. And then now when I go to edit type, you'll see that wakes it up, and now I can click the load button and it works. I can also choose the one that I just loaded. If I go to the list here under family, there, so that's the one I just loaded. If I click OK, it'll put that in. But now I can also go back, edit type, and use load the way you should be able to load in a different one if I want to try out another one. From that, essentially, that curtain wall doors are just a type of curtain wall. And now that I've loaded all of those, I can just go to and okay, so hopefully that's a bit clearer. And it's pretty flexible what you can do with panels. You can also get some nice patterns if you want to try that Mondrian style of curtain wall patterning, where you have some that are clear and some that are solid and maybe different colors. You can also change to the solid panel, and unfortunately, when we go to properties and click on this drop-down list, it doesn't always give you the options that it's supposed to. It should give you all the options here for the different panels, but unfortunately, part of it gets cut off. And so sometimes, if you know that there are options there that you can't see in this list with the nice thumbnail, the only way to get them is to go to edit type, and you can get to all the options here. So what I want is the type to be set to solid, right? And then I can go okay, right? So now that one's a solid panel, and you can do really nice patterning just by thinking about how you can have different patterns of solid and glazed. So now it should let me choose, solids there at the bottom. And so many little things like this. I wish they'd just fix it. But again, there's some not very bright developers, unfortunately, since object-oriented programming became accessible to people who don't have a high enough IQ to understand how it all works, unfortunately. It's just the way software development has gone, but still, you can definitely still make it work. Okay, so there we are. And so that might give you some options for curtain walls. See if there's any. Yep, sure, no worries. Okay, so I'll stop that recording there.